Greetings and welcome to Caribbean Vanguard. So I came across an article that says, same-sex honeymooners are visiting places without marriage equality. And this article was written by Neil Lansfield. I guess there was an interview with Kuoni, which is a travel agency out of Switzerland, founded in 1906 by Albert Kuoni. And the article started off saying, the travel agent said, it is seen a trend of newly married LGBTQ couples booking trips to locations which do not approve of same-sex marriages. It says, more same-sex honeymooners are visiting destinations which do not have marriage equality. Kuoni said, it is experiencing a growing trend of newly married LGBTQ couples booking trips to locations which do not approve of same-sex marriages, such as the Maldives, Dubai, the Caribbean, and East Africa. The luxury tour operator and travel agent said many people in this category are exploring places considered less LGBTQ friendly because they do not want barriers to influence how they celebrate their love. Well, you already know that barriers is not a thing that's going to stop them. Okay? Continue. It reported strong demand for villa accommodation, which could ensure privacy in countries without marriage equality. 2 out of 5, 44% respondents to a Kuoni Commission survey of 1,013 people who identified as part of the LGBTQ community said they prioritize the overall destination experience regardless of the attitudes towards people with their sexuality or gender identity. The company is marking a 10-year anniversary of same-sex weddings being legalized in England and Wales on Monday by launching the Kuoni Promise, which is a commitment to inclusivity and diversity. It noted the popular honeymoon locations such as Barbados, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Singapore, which have repealed anti-gay legislation. Kuoni Managing Director Mark Dugard said, with LGBTQ travel, the talk can often turn reactive quite quickly, boycotting certain destinations and so on. In reality, the conversation is much more nuanced than that. So we give our customers the information to make educated choices and navigate those issues in a very individual way with our staff. And we can have those chats because many of those staff have experienced those destinations themselves. So that's the article right there. So regardless of your laws in the country, they're coming to your towns and country. Now, I know that there's some people who are simply trying to live their life, but in most cases, they are not the main issue. The main issue is the hidden rooms, the secret conversations, the folks with the money who have intentions in shaping cultures and have been doing that throughout generations and use different means of penetrating or getting into someone's culture, from religion to politics to disasters and everything like that. Right? So I am a strong advocate of following the law. If there's a law in these countries, then we should follow those laws and not impose our will on those laws. Again, a lot of this have to do with money, and people don't want to be honest about it. A lot of it have to do with money, and I wish they could come right out and say that, but they won't. There's this video of the Pope saying that homosexuality must be legal globally.
Ser homosexual no es un delito, es una condición humana. Somos todos hijos de Dios. Y Dios nos quiere como estamos y con la fuerza que luchamos cada uno por nuestra dignidad. El ser homosexual no es un delito. No es un delito. Sí, pero es pecado. Bueno, primero, distingamos pecado por delito. Pero también es pecado la falta de caridad con el prójimo. ¿Y vos cómo andás?
So he's saying it's a condition. I don't think that the community would take to that type of language very well, that it is a condition. Because according to most or many from the community, it is not a condition, it is natural, it is life, it's just the way things is. But the Pope is calling it a condition. And he said God loved everyone. But God loves the criminal. God loves the thief. God loves the rapist. He loves all of those people, don't he? Yeah. So at least if you're going to try to make that argument, come with something that is a lot more convincing, something that makes sense. Because people say things and folks listen to them and act as if, oh wow, that makes sense. I never thought of that. But we know it doesn't make sense, and they know it doesn't make sense, but they're hoping that you won't ask any question about it. Just pretend it makes sense to you. Shut up and don't ask nothing else. So you're telling a community, you're telling nations that they must legalize homosexual marriage. Who is you to make yourself a person to tell every nation what they must do and what they mustn't do? So you see, this mentality that you're hearing here and seeing is the same spirit that's been around for generations upon generations. It's the same spirit that led us in, that put us into slavery. It's that same spirit. If there is a community that says, I cannot come there because of my practices, not my birthright, but my practices that I have adopted, because we know everyone has adopted behaviors and so forth as they go along. No one is born that way, right? The influences around you, things that are around you shapes that. If someone have information in that, educate me. But from my understanding, folks are not born that way, okay? But if you want to live that way, you live that way. But don't go and try to impose it on everyone else. Like in the Caribbean, it will start in one country and then expand throughout the Caribbean. St. Croix. Over the years, there have been parades in St. Croix, LGBTQ parades, regardless of what the local people think. I know that the majority of the local population in these places is against that.
Fire now, funny fucking people. Boom, bye bye, and a batty boy head. You know, ramp it are you. Yeah. Put on it. Boy. Not in Freedom City. We gonna fight. Yeah. Freedom City. How the fuck we gonna load this in Freedom City? Fuck you, motherfuckers! Motherfuckers! Devils, run away! Nasty, I want you to be better than a fuck! Nasty motherfucker!
Keep that shit to yourself! Community. This is our community. Take that shit when they belong. This is our home. Our sons. No. This is not my fucking culture. I love my culture.
But they decided that they're gonna force their hand on these people. There are videos where locals coming out and saying, hey, stop that crap, you know? We have our beliefs, but they want to make you believe that they are very tolerant. Many of them are not tolerant to how you believe. St. Croix seemed to be the guinea pig of the Caribbean. St. Croix and Barbados I've also heard too. I heard there's a lot of that happening in Barbados. So before you know it, this place is going to be overrun. Because again, like I've said in a previous video, when we send our youths off to school and they do not have a strong sense of identity, they don't have pride, and they're not rooted, deeply rooted. When they go to these colleges, there are a lot of influences and they pick up these habits when they go to these places and they bring it back to the Caribbean and then try to push it on everybody else. Okay? So we got to really make sure that before we send our youths off, that we have planted a strong sense of identity in them. Right? But that's all I have. Until next time, be blessed.